Every day in Japan, 6-year-olds quietly scrub classroom floors and serve lunch. These are tasks many Western parents would call punishment. Yet this ritual, rooted in post-war law and centuries of group-first philosophy, is credited with raising some of the world's calm, most disciplined children. How did a simple rule become the engine of an entire culture's self-control? And why do critics warn of a hidden cost most outsiders miss? The answer begins decades before the first bell rings. In 1947, as Japan rebuilt from the devastation of war, lawmakers drafted a new education system with an unusual feature woven into its foundation. The school education law, shaped by curriculum writers and policy architects, introduced a formal category called Tokubetsu Katsudo, which became known as special activities. This was not a minor addition. Alongside math, science, and language, every school would be required to set aside time for group duties, cleaning, serving lunch, organizing class events, and running daily routines. The architects of this system believed that democracy and civic life began with shared work, not just debate. They wrote into law that children would learn responsibility by taking real roles in the daily life of their classrooms. The intention was clear in early ministry documents and teacher guides. These activities were to cultivate what they called the public mind, a sense that each child's actions mattered to the group. Rather than rely on punishment or rewards, the curriculum embedded rotating duties as a normal, expected part of school life. By the early 1950s, this approach was standard nationwide. Japanese children, regardless of region or background, would spend part of every school day caring for their shared environment. The law did not just tolerate these routines, it mandated them, making collective responsibility as fundamental as reading or arithmetic. What began as a policy blueprint would soon become a cultural cornerstone, shaping how generations of children understood their place in the world. In Japan, the idea that children should help care for their school is grounded in centuries-old beliefs about what it means to live well with others. Group harmony, or WA, is a value that stretches back to Confucian teachings, where the needs of the community are seen as inseparable from those of the individual. From a young age, children learn that their actions reflect not just on themselves, but on the whole group, family, classmates, even the nation. This mindset shapes daily life, making shared responsibility feel natural rather than forced. Beneath the surface of ordinary routines lies a deeper spiritual current. In Shinto, Japan's indigenous faith, cleanliness is linked to purity, not just of the body, but of the heart. Dirt and disorder are seen as sources of pollution, so cleaning becomes a way to restore balance and show respect for the spaces everyone uses. Buddhist traditions add another layer. In temples, samu, physical work like sweeping or gardening is a form of discipline, a path to self-mastery. The lesson is simple. Caring for the environment is caring for yourself and your community. These beliefs took root in small villages where survival depended on everyone pitching in. Children joined adults in planting rice, tending fields, and maintaining shared spaces. Over time, these patterns became habits, reinforced by schools and families alike. Today, when students scrub floors or serve lunch, they are not just following orders, they are participating in a living tradition that treats everyday chores as acts of respect and moral practice. In this context, duty is not a burden, but a quiet expression of belonging. Kenji's day begins before the first bell, when he and a handful of classmates gather around the classroom duty board. Each name is listed under a rotating set of tasks: attendance, blackboard, lunch service, cleaning zone. Today, Kenji is assigned to corridor cleaning, while his friend Aiko will help serve lunch. The roles change every week, ensuring that by the end of the term, every student has swept floors, wiped windowsills, and even scrubbed the toilets. Ms. Sato, their homeroom teacher, stands nearby, not to supervise, but to join in. In this school, teachers clean alongside students, reinforcing the idea that no one is above the work. At the end of morning lessons, a short chime signals the start of cleaning time. Kenji heads for the supply closet, collects a broom and a dustpan, and joins his team in the hallway. For the next 15 minutes, the building fills with the sound of brushes against tile, laughter echoing as desks are moved and dust is chased from corners. The cleaning zones rotate so no one gets stuck with the same job for long. On another day, Kenji might be wiping classroom desks or emptying trash cans. Even the less popular tasks, like bathroom duty, are shared equally. After cleaning, Kenji trades his broom for a white coat and cap, ready to serve lunch. He and Aiko portion out rice and soup, pausing to lead their classmates in a word of thanks for the meal. The system runs with quiet efficiency, each student moving through their role, aware that their effort keeps the school running smoothly. With every rotation, children learn responsibility, to notice what needs doing, and to take pride in shared accomplishment. The routine is so embedded that it feels less like a rule and more like a natural rhythm of the day. Japanese classrooms are known for their quiet order, but the effects of daily routines stretch far beyond the school walls. Nationwide, official statistics show that juvenile crime in Japan is among the lowest in the developed world. The Ministry of Justice reports that the number of juvenile offenders has dropped sharply over the past 2 decades, with young people now accounting for only a small fraction of all criminal cases. While no single policy explains this trend, many educators and researchers believe that the habits formed through years of shared responsibility, like cleaning and lunch duties, play a role in shaping behavior. Academic results offer a similar story. In the most recent round of international PISA assessments, Japanese 15-year-olds ranked among the top performers globally in math, science, and reading. These outcomes come despite the fact that students spend significant time each week on non-academic tasks like classroom maintenance. Rather than seeing these routines as a distraction, Japanese educators argue that the discipline and cooperation developed during cleaning time spill over into academic life. Students learn to manage their own space, work quietly with peers, and follow through on group commitments. Researchers who study Japanese schools point out that classrooms run by students tend to have fewer disruptions and a stronger sense of community ownership. Teachers report that when children are trusted with real responsibilities, they are less likely to act out or damage their environment. The connection is not simple cause and effect, but the pattern is hard to ignore. In a country where nearly every child grows up scrubbing floors and serving lunch, public spaces remain clean, schools are orderly, and serious misbehavior is rare. The daily routines may seem small, but over time, they add up to a culture where calm and discipline are woven into everyday life. Yet, the expectation to fit in and carry out group duties comes with a cost for some children. In recent years, Japan has faced a troubling rise in suicides among school-aged children and adolescents, reaching record highs since statistics began in the 1970s. Mental health experts point to mounting academic pressure, social isolation, and the fear of letting down classmates as possible factors. For those who struggle to meet the group's expectations, the classroom can become a place of anxiety rather than belonging. The term hikikomori describes over 1 million young people who withdraw from society, often after finding daily school life overwhelming. The same routines that foster harmony can, at times, deepen the sense of isolation for those who don't fit the mold. Attempts to transplant Japan's classroom duty system into Western schools have run into resistance. In the United States, parent groups have objected to students cleaning bathrooms, framing it as unpaid labor or even a safety risk. School leaders warn that such changes often clash with expectations about what children should do at school. Meanwhile, Japan's birth rate has dropped to 1.26 children per woman, leaving some rural classrooms half empty and forcing duties to be shared across grades. As automation spreads, debates arise over whether robots should take over cleaning or if the value lies in the work itself. Today, nearly every Japanese child learns that caring for shared spaces is a duty, not a punishment. As schools worldwide debate what shapes responsible citizens, the real test may be what we ask children to do, not just what we tell them. What lesson do our choices leave behind?